People have always had a disturbing fascination with death and the dead. Preserving the dead thousands of years ago, to the ancient Egyptians, death was only the beginning, and embalming bodies was a regular matter, as was normal in many ancient cultures. Here are some of the world's best preserved mummies, and each has some tale to tell. The Capuchin Catacombs of Palermo, Sicily, in southern Italy. One of the most unusual and admittedly ghoulish sights in Palermo. The catacombs are said to hold 8,000 bodies, but the number is probably closer to 2,000, some of them quite notable. Rumor has it that the celebrated writer of the novel The Leopard, Giuseppe Tomasi di Lampedusa, is here, but his body is actually buried at the nearby cemetery. There are members of the Sicilian aristocracy, lawyers, doctors, artists, and even the son of a Tunisian king inside. Their preserved bodies dressed in clothes they wore in life, resting for eternity below the streets of Palermo. Evita Perón. In 1971, Evita's body was exhumed and flown to Spain, where her husband maintained the corpse in his home. The procedure was performed by a renowned professor of anatomy, Dr. Anna. His embalming technique was so good, it was commonly referred to as the art of death. The year-long procedure included replacing the body's blood in water with glycerin, resulting in the preservation of all internal organs, even the brain. Vladimir Lenin. Frozen in time, Lenin's embalmed body lays within a red granite and black labradorite step pyramid. Here visitors may gaze on it in the dark, cool of the tomb. He was the father of Russian communism and the first leader of the Soviet Union. The government decided to preserve the body of Lenin for future generations. As their culture had no practice or record of the process, the Russians had to invent a highly complex process of embalming. Unlike Evita's mummified corpse, which required little post-embalming maintenance, Lenin's requires extensive chemical baths, injections, and evaluation. The body's organs were removed and replaced with a humidifier and pumping system designed to maintain the body's core temperature and fluid intake. Ice mummified body of John Torrington. A petty officer of the fabled Franklin expedition to the Arctic Circle. He died of pneumonia and lead poisoning at age 20 and was buried in the frozen tundra along with 3 others at one of the expedition's campsite. Sometimes, Mother Nature can preserve a body in ways embalmers can only dream. Frozen in a block of ice for over 150 years, the body was nearly perfectly preserved. The only signs of decay were visible around the eyelids and lips. He still wore the cloths he died in, and his arms and legs were still tied together. A handkerchief was even tied around his head to keep his jaw closed. Rosalia Lombardo, the child mummy. Deep in the catacombs of the Capuchin monks in Sicily, inside a tiny glass casket, lies the body of little Rosalia Lombardo. When she died in 1918 of pneumonia, her father General Lombardo was devastated. He sought the services of Italian embalmer Alfredo Silafia to preserve her. Using a mixture of chemicals, including formalin, zinc salts, alcohol, salicylic acid, and glycerin, the end result was nothing short of extraordinary. The body was so well preserved she became known as Sleeping Beauty. For over 80 years, she has remained perfectly preserved. Only in the last 5 years have signs of decay appeared. In response, the glass casket was moved to a drier end of the catacombs and placed inside an airtight, nitrogen-filled glass case. Wet mummy found during road construction. These incredible pictures show a 700-year-old mummy, which was discovered by chance by road workers in excellent condition in eastern China. The corpse of the high-ranking woman believed to be from the Ming dynasty, the ruling power in China between 1368 and 1644, was stumbled across by a team who were looking to expand a street. The 5-foot-tall woman was fully clothed and buried with many fine pieces of jewelry, including a silver hairpin that still held her hair in place and a huge jade ring on her finger. A frozen Incan sacrifice. Over 500 years ago, 15-year-old girl, La Doncella, and 2 other children were left on a mountaintop to succumb to the cold as offerings to the gods. according to the archaeologists who found the mummified remains in Argentina in 1999. La Doncella was found dressed in a ceremonial tunic and adorned with a headpiece, tokens of her new status as a messenger to the heavens. The girl had also drunk corn liquor, likely to put her to sleep, scientists say, and her mouth still held fragments of coca leaves, which the Inca chewed to lessen the effects of altitude sickness. Lady Di, the best preserved mummy ever. She is undisputedly the best preserved mummy ever found, not in terms of physical appearance, but in the simple completeness of her body. Unlike Lenin, her internal organs are perfectly intact, including her brain. Unlike Evita, her tissues are still soft to the touch, her limbs flexible. Her hair is complete and there is type A blood in her veins. Here is the most astonishing part: she is 2,100 years old. Also known as Lady Di, the Diva Mummy. The wife of the ruler of the Han imperial fiefdom of Di, she died between 178 and 145 BC at age 50. She was buried in a Titanic-sized tomb with exotic foods, dinnerware, and fabrics. The body itself was immersed in a mysterious liquid, no doubt responsible for the amazing preservation. Dashi Dorzo Watigilov, a Buddhist monk mummified in prayer. He was a Russian Buddhist Lama monk who died mid-chant in the lotus posture in 1927. His last testament was a simple request to be buried how he was found. True to his wishes, he was buried in the lotus position, wearing the robes he died in. In 1955, the monks exhumed his body and discovered it to be incorrupt. It was again exhumed in 1973 to the same discovery. In a time when Soviet anti-theist authorities policed the Russian state, the findings were not announced until 2002. After being declared a sacred relic by the Buddhist Conference, the body was placed in a namesake shrine where it remains to this day.